Welcome to Liquid Courage, candid conversations that give you an inside look into Canada's entertainment industry. I'm your host, Amanda Pereira. Every episode, I sit down with ridiculously talented folks from right here in Canada. And with some liquid courage, I ask the questions we're all dying to know. From career wins to total faceplants, hilarious missteps to surprising breakthroughs, and behind-the-scenes tips you can actually use. These chats remind us we're all just figuring it out. So why not do it together? Today, I sit down with Nadine Bhabha as we sip on some good old sparkling water together. Nadine is an award-winning actor, writer, and producer from Toronto. She's written for This Hour Has 22 Minutes, Children Ruin Everything, and Crave's upcoming comedy Slo Pitch. You may recognize her from her performances in comedies like Letterkenny, The Holiday Shift, One More Time, This Hour Has 22 Minutes, and Settle Down. Nadine has earned 3 Canadian Screen Award nominations for her performances in How to Fail as a Pop Star and The Communist Daughter, and for her writing on This Hour Has 22 Minutes. Most recently, Nadine took the stage in the critically acclaimed theater production The Welkin here in Toronto. She's also currently in development on several exciting projects in both Canada and the US, continuing to champion hilarious and deeply nuanced female narratives. Nadine is a creative powerhouse. She takes her work seriously without taking herself too seriously, and she's also just like one of the coolest people I've met in a while. If during this conversation you hear something referenced, like a TV show or a podcast that we say is amazing and you want to check it out, don't worry, I got you covered. Check the episode description and I've linked everything there for you. Hi, Nadine.
Hi, Amanda.
Thanks so much for... I know it's such an awkward way to start. You know what I realized the other day? I start most episodes like that, and I was like, Amanda, stop doing that. Why do you do that? But I realized I was listening to a podcast, and they didn't introduce themselves off the top, and I didn't know whose voice was who.
Of course.
Which, like...
So we got to do it.
So we got to do it. Although, like, people aren't idiots. They'd figure it out very quickly when I ask you a question. They'd be like, okay, we know who's who.
You know, sometimes you do hear like 2 comedians like talking, or what? Those are the only podcasts I listen to, and and they do have similar voices, especially if they're not like super known. So you know, you got to know.
It's helpful.
Yeah.
It's helpful. Okay, so you started acting really young, like as a kid. When did you know that this is like what you wanted to do with your life?
There's never been a time where I didn't know that. There was no switch. If you ask my parents, I've told the story so many times, I feel like it sounds made up, but like I was like memorizing commercials when I was like 3. My parents thought I could read early, but I couldn't. I was just memorizing those books. I was like, you
like a genius.
The page of hand, finger, thumb, and I know that. And they're like, oh my God, she can read it. And I'm like, no, I'm just memorizing it.
Yeah. It's equally impressive. It's just a different skill, but
Sure.
I mean, it's still pretty impressive for a kid. And your parents, again, like a lot of this is obviously from me doing research, but I could have misinterpreted anything. So like, it seemed like from what I read, like your parents were really, really supportive, like extremely supportive right away.
Yeah, my parents were really encouraging of everything me and my 2 siblings wanted to do. And my first audition was for The Lion King in Toronto, big Mervish production. And they did this big casting call. And my mom was like, they're casting for this thing. Do you want to do it? And I said, of course. Me being
Obviously.
9 years old, not knowing that this was going to be me stepping into the industry, like doing auditions and whatever. I didn't get it then. But then 2 years later, they called my parents back and they were like, we're recasting now because, you know, people have grown up and blah, blah, blah. Does she want to come back? And it was down to me and one other girl, and my mom was there with me in the call back. It was so cute.
Aww.
So yeah, they've been encouraging since the beginning. My parents, they are divorced. Spoiler alert to them, but my parents have been known to, I have an audition in Montreal. This was also before most self-tapes. They're like, we'll drive you. We'll drive you there. I'll do the 15-minute audition and then they'll drive me home. Like they were great. They are great.
Yeah. I have to ask you because I'm maybe projecting, but like when you said, my parents are divorced, and then there was like this pause before you went on. And I'm just curious if you know, I feel personally when I say that, my parents are also divorced, been divorced since I was, I don't know, 3, like as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
But still, when I say it, I find myself pausing because I don't know how if the other person is going to think this is like a sad thing I'm saying or just a fact.
Oh, I only paused because my parents got divorced from each other twice. And
Oh,
so I always go
interesting.
like, do I go down into this, or do I say the first time and then like that starts a whole like ripple effect of a story, or do I just move on because everyone's parents are divorced?
Everyone,
You know?
yeah. You're like, how much context do I need to get?
Yeah.
Like, what story am I going down? Oh, that's interesting. Well, that's more rare that like divorced back together, divorced again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tried.
Hey, I applaud them for that. I had a friend in elementary school. Her parents got divorced and then back together. I'm not still friends with her, so I don't know. But I remember in school thinking like, wow, that is like, it was the first time I had ever heard of it. And I realized how final I thought divorce was in my head. Like, I guess I just thought like, there's no going back.
Well,
that's wonderful.
Marriage, divorce, the only thing that is guaranteed in this life, death and taxes, everything else is up for debate.
Yeah. Unless you have a lot of money, then you maybe not even taxes has to be.
There you go.
For sure. There you go. So how did you, once you were a kid and you were like, I want to do this and you're auditioning, I mean, Lion King, that feels like a really big first audition. I guess you have like the gift of being a child and not realizing how big of an audition it is.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, these like open cattle calls or whatever, it's like, there's no stakes. I think it was the callback stage when I was 11 that was like, oh, like I could actually, this could be my life and job. But even then, honestly, though I was very determined to be an actor and then a writer later on, but though I was determined most of my youth, I didn't really see myself making a career out of it perfectly until I was probably like 20.
Oh,
so there
interesting.
there was just like, it was still kind of fun and games. And I was like, I hope this works out. I want to do this. When I was a teenager, I also wanted to be a Much Music VJ at the same time. So,
oh my God. But but if you maybe were born around the same time, because like who didn't? That was
truly
like the dream.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah. I feel like I can't shut up about wanting to be a VJ. Like everyone who knows me knows that we know enough. But yeah, it was a dream. Much Music is and will always be like this golden time in my upbringing. And so, it was between that and also being an actor. I wanted to do it all. But it wasn't until, I was like probably 20 where I was just like, no, I think this is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Oh, that's amazing. And you went to theater school, first at George Brown, right? Into theater school?
Yeah. So first I did a year at George Brown and then I got cut from that program.
Yeah.
And that was at 18. And then I took a year off and I worked at Flow 93.5 and I just sort of gallivanted around and had a little bit of a life. And again, this was like, this is before Instagram and all that kind of stuff. You were really just out in the world.
Yeah. You were allowed to be out in the world.
Yeah. You were bopping around and no one knew what you were up to except for your friends.
And it was bliss.
It was so good
in that way. Yeah.
And so I just like, after that year, I was just like, no, I do want to get trained. I do want to go back to school. And I ended up going to Ryerson for 2 years for radio and television because I was just like, well, let me learn the other side of things. And I loved it, but I also was just like, I like attention. And
you're like, this isn't where I want to be. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm a little too cute to be back here. and then I ended up going to York for 4 years of theater school. Yeah.
And I feel like often, I mean, at least for me, like wanting to pursue acting, because I guess it can feel like it's so subjective and intangible and out of your hands, especially like when I was younger. I absolutely went the route of like, okay, then I'll just learn everything else. Like I got trained as a script supervisor, or like a PA or in casting. You're like, I'll just try and learn all the things to hopefully help me out with acting. When ultimately I'm like, well, I could have just put those hours into acting probably. Who knows? Like
those are hours going into acting though. Cause I think knowing how everything else works is so key to being a better collaborator, which to me is like the most fun part about being in this industry. And I also did all of that. Like I was a PA. I also am a writer. You dabble in, you shadow directors. Like I produce. Like I love watching camera do their thing. Like I if I could learn how to truly be a focus puller, I think that would be so sick.
Oh,
Because
they're like the
make the thing.
icons. Yeah, it's like magicians on set. That is the
Totally.
Yeah.
I also have an editor's brain. It's like you have to be able to do it all, especially if you want to do it all, which I do.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think, you know what, I do absolutely agree that wearing all the different hats, even if then you're like, I know that the singular the only thing I want to do, let's say, is act. It does really help you just be aware of all of those things, especially because often it can be like you're auditioning, and then it's such like a smaller percentage of time that you are on set, that coming to set and already having all of that in the back of your mind, right, is like really, really helpful.
And then also, one of the nicest things anyone's ever said to me about my performance is a scriptie was just like, you just keep doing everything the same for continuity. This is so helpful. Like my movement, not my choices or whatever, but it was like turning on the same line and picking the thing up on the same line. And they're just like, we can't tell you how helpful that is. And I'm like, I know.
I think all those like technical pieces are sort of go unnoticed when somebody is watching something, whether they're in the industry or not. And that's the ideal. It's like you almost like it's underappreciated, because if you don't notice it, it's because the actor is doing all the things the same. And then if you do notice it, you're like, oh, why is that cup blue? Or like, I don't understand, where did the cup go, or whatever. So
and sometimes you can't help it. You find stuff and that's the take. But I do think having an awareness of hitting your mark, doing all that kind of stuff, the lighting, blah, 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 what everybody else does, it also saves you from being a selfish actor.
Can you say more about what you mean?
Yeah, I think like because a lot of the industry is so siloed, you're not there. An actor's not there for pre-production or prep, or like they don't know why a script has a certain word instead of the word that you might naturally say, but it's because 3 episodes from now it's setting something else up, and like so much goes into the shell of the thing you're making. And so when you get into the core, being an actor, you're the face of most of these things. You come in and it's pretty easy to be like, well, I don't want to say that, or I don't want to do that, or I want to do this, or I want to say this, or I want to wear this. And I think it'd be nice to have more autonomy to be a collaborator with all these things that happen before and after you get there. However, it's also really easy to just be like, well, I'm the most important part of this. You know?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I guess it's nice, like in my life, I find that I'm quite the A type, or like the alpha. Like I'm like I'm the one making the plans or picking the restaurant or whatever. That's the role I typically fall into. And one thing I, like you, also want to create my own things and tell my own stories. And then also I love when I am actor only on a project, because I get to beta so hard. Like I get to show up and do my thing. And like, it's not about whatever. If the light is going, like I'm just doing my role. Like I just have to do my role really, really well. And I don't have to worry about it's not about me. And in like
brain
a
gets
beautiful
to fall
way.
Out of your head.
Yes, it's so wonderful. I love that part of it, which is actually like a very new realization for me in the last few years of like, oh wow, I didn't realize that acting gave that to me. And I love it. But
it's
anyway,
chill. Someone's like literally like, come here, sweetie.
Like, it's lunchtime.
Can you stand there?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, hold your burger like this, tilt it. You're like, okay. Yeah.
It's pretty chill.
It is. Yeah, it can be very chill. So when you were at George Brown and got cut after that first year, I'm just curious, like at 18, that's so young. Like what was that experience like? How did it shape your relationship with rejection, like moving forward?
I don't know what was like wrong with me at that time, but I just didn't take it to heart. And I know that sounds like, yeah, you did, bitch, but I didn't. I saw it coming a mile away. Like I was very aware of my skill level amongst my peers, because I was in a class with some incredible people. actors turn directors, writers. I'm working with 2 of them on a show coming up right now. And it just, I could tell. And I was just like, I feel like I'm not easing into the work as well as some other people are, even some people my age, because our class range from 18 to 26 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so I saw it coming. That didn't stop me from working really hard. I was just like, I'm going to give it my all, even if this happens, because they make cuts and you know that. And so when it happened, because I had already sort of sat in that for a little bit longer than I think people who were surprised by getting cut, I was just sort of like, okay, what do we do now? And because I was a bit, I don't know, hard-headed about what I wanted to do, I didn't bother going, well, these 3 people essentially are telling me I can't be in this program, so I'm not going to be an actor. I was just like, I'm not fitting into their perspective of what it is to be an artist. And I also was like unsure of myself as well. So then I took that year off. I went to Ryerson for a couple years. I learned all those skills. So by the time I got back to theater school when I was 22, which doesn't sound old, but you know, you're 22, everyone else is 18. You feel like grandma.
Yeah.
I was just so much more sure of myself because I was just like, see, you got rejected and now you're still exactly where you should be. And it lit a fire under my ass that has not gone out. So I do actually, I love that happened. And it wasn't this big, like, you know, for some people it's okay that if getting kicked out of theater school is like this big blight on your life for some reason. But for me, it was just sort of like, that happened. Who cares? You know?
Yeah. I love that you went the fire under your ass route.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's fantastic. I mean, what do you think it is that makes it, I mean, other than I guess just we're all different people, but like, what do you think equipped you in a way that set you up for like you getting cut meant you were like, here's the fucking fire under my ass. It's just these 3 people, like having that perspective versus having the industry has told me I don't belong, you know?
I don't know. I mean, you know, my parents, I think they just raised us right, where they're just kind of like, you're worthy. Sometimes things don't work out. You watch someone get divorced twice, you're like, sometimes things don't work out.
and you come back a second time.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah. Definitely don't go down without a fight. If that's something you want, my parents both taught me how to work hard too. Like nothing was really handed to us. They were like, oh, you want that? Go babysit for money. Like, go do that. And it wasn't opaque. They were very like, if you need something, these are the steps to get that thing. And so I was very accustomed to, just like taking an alternate path to getting what I want. I also didn't extrapolate where it's like, oh, the industry hates me. I was sort of just like, these 3 people.
I think that's an incredible perspective to keep in mind, like even now, and not to you. I just mean like in general of really keeping in perspective, like, is it the world or is it this one person? Like, you know, because sometimes it can feel like the one person is the world and it's not.
Well, sometimes, I mean, look, woman of color, la, 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 like you're trapped sort of within a bit of like a system, especially now with the political trends sort of influencing art. But you can it's like, okay, and you know, like you can feel that 2 things can be true at the same time. Like the industry can be very tough and it can be very exclusive and cold. Okay. And what does that mean for you specifically day to day? You have to sort of negotiate that.
For yourself. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and then sticking around and deciding like, no, that was just 3 people. I'm sticking around. I'm doing this again. I'm coming back to this. One of your first major like acting gigs was like a pretty big one, joining Letterkenny as City Girl Bianca. Not your first one, but like first major TV, you know, and on Letterkenny. And when you joined the cast, it was in season 6. And I'm curious, like, what was it like joining a show that was already this like big, popular moving machine? Was it intimidating? Was it wonderful because they had already figured out what they were? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, it was pretty seamless. I had watched the show before. I had auditioned for the show for a different character a couple seasons previously. I've told this story also so many times, but essentially I auditioned for the show for season 1 or 2 or something, and didn't get it. And then a couple seasons later, I was just like, God, I wish I could be on that show, but I'll never book it. I'm a city girl. And then literally within 2 hours, I got an audition that said City Girl Bianca.
Like, that is wild.
It's wild. And so anyway, so I was already familiar with the cadence of the show and the humor. And yeah, it's also because it's a machine and they shoot 22 pages a day. There is like a pace to the work day even.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone made it so easy. The cast is incredible. My first day was with Evan Stern and Tyler Johnson and Sarah Gadon. And these are some of the country's greatest actors. And Jacob Tierney made it so easy. He's kind, he's clear. Jared was, very encouraging. We loved your tape. Like, it was the perfect alchemy for doing your best.
Oh, that's incredible. So then I guess it was like, it sounds like it was easy to feel inspired and that sense of play versus coming in intimidated, trying to like live up to whatever the audition that you had done or what they had already created. Like, it sounds like it was just a great situation to walk into.
Absolutely. It was just, I mean, I do get in my head a lot. I'm an overthinker, but these specific things that we were talking about, it's just sort of like, I don't know. There was nothing. Yes, I needed to be funny. Yes, I wanted to make these people laugh. Yes, I was scared to come into this big sort of show. But at the same time, I was just like, I know what I'm doing and I'm just going to do what I did in my tape. And also it was me and Sash Striga, who is my counterpart. And like, we had worked out some bits before we got to set. And so we're just kind of like, hopefully this works. And it wasn't just on me,
Yeah. That's nice. Also coming in with sort of like this duo partner, like
totally.
having that in there is great too. It's interesting that you say you're an overthinker because, like, again, I don't know you. We literally have met in real life twice for maybe 30 seconds each time. And so I'm coming from obviously a sliver of a perception of you.
Yeah.
But like, I would not think of you as an overthinker.
Girl.
And I've read your book of poetry. Like, I'm like, it's not just, oh my God, of course. I literally have I mean, and it's not just like interviews that I'm reading, but I'm so intrigued about like what things you typically overthink about.
You name it. I'm thinking about it. Literally, like, if you've ever been inside like a small town, like antique store where everything's just everywhere and kind of like things are dusty, but there's a lot of hidden gems in there. And there's some like old man in the corner being like, do you want this cowbell? Like, that is the inside of my head. There's just so many things going on in there constantly. And there's somehow room for every day 10 more things. I'm like, my brain is a hoarder's brain. For thoughts. I think about pretty much everything all the time. I'm like a flow chart of scenarios.
Right. Yeah. Oh God, that like made me internally exhausted because I feel like I know what you're talking about.
I literally slept for, I'm not joking, 1 hour last night.
Oh no.
And that was because I like my tummy hurt. But like while I'm awake, I'm just like, okay, well, 3 months from now, like like, just like, and if I spend $20 tomorrow on this, does that mean I can't spend $20? Like, it's just so annoying to be inside my head. Sometimes people benefit from that because I'm also the reservation girl. I'm also the one sort of like collecting people together, but I'm not benefiting necessarily.
Well, I'm like, why not take on more? The antique store isn't full. Why not take on
cram
more?
it.
Cram it in there. Oh my God, Nadine, I could not relate more. I literally, like, only a couple weeks ago, my therapist suggested we used to do weekly. We went to bi-weekly and she suggested we go back to weekly.
Yeah. It's like, I can't do this.
I feel, I'm like, I feel so, like, do you love me? Like, is that, you want to see me more? And also, I get it. There's a lot to like
we need
unpack.
to,
Yeah. And it's interesting because when, when I was reading your book of poetry, there was just a moment in there where you mentioned meditation.
Mhm.
And lately, I just feel like the universe keeps telling me to meditate, and I don't want to. Like,
Okay.
because I don't want to sit. My partner meditates. Literally, they're going to a 10-day silent meditation retreat like very soon. Not the first time they've got, like,
not for me.
they do it. No, I don't. There's going to be a hump to getting to the quiet place. And I don't want to have to experience the hump because it's so loud. There's so many thoughts. There's so,
Well,
you know?
I'll say this because I just had this conversation with my mom. Where I'm like, just start with 2 minutes. Like, everyone has 2 minutes, and you're not supposed to get anything from it. I'm so dead serious. It's like when you eat broccoli, you don't immediately go, I'm full of B12 or whatever it is. Like, you don't feel a difference, but when you're consistently eating broccoli, something good for you, you are healthier. You're a healthier person naturally over time. So it's just like, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, up to maybe 20 minutes a day. The silent retreat thing's not my thing, but like,
I can't be silent.
Even 20 minutes is like too long. Like, I 5 is the sweet spot for me. And you start your day or end your day with a couple minutes. And again, like, you have monkey mind. We all do. It'll go somewhere else and you'll start overthinking about whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that you're practicing taking that 5 minutes for yourself to try and shut your brain down.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. How has it cumulatively helped? Cumulatively?
Yeah.
I feel like I overpronounced that word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How has it helped? What benefits have you found, like, personally for yourself?
Well, mostly that, like, it's a reminder that this is your life. Whenever you're like, oh, I don't have 3 minutes. I don't have 5 minutes. I don't have 10 minutes. It's like, what else are you doing? And it's like, I'm very busy. I'm a very, like, busy person, but it's like, also my life is just living in this body. And so, like, it has taught me that, you know, whatever you do, that is your life. And so it's not people waiting, you know, I'm also really punctual. So, you know, keep this in mind, but it's not people waiting for you to get somewhere or waiting for you to do something or sending that email or, you know, having to make money or any of this stuff. It's living in your body and making your life the best it can be. And so you have 3 minutes to try and do that. Again, whether or not you feel relaxed from that, I can't tell you. But
yeah. Whether or not it's a torturous.
Yeah, you got to try.
Yeah. I mean, all I hear is the benefits from everywhere. Like,
here's the thing.
The benefits from it.
I'm also not like, I raw dog the world. Like, I will not listen to a podcast while I'm going for a walk. I'm not really even I like listening to music, but it's like in my house, I'll be dancing. But like, once I'm out in the world, the bus, the plane, if I have a 5-hour flight, I'm daydreaming.
No.
And so, yeah, I
no movies, no TV shows, no book.
Nothing brings me more comfort than having to daydream. Like, you're on a train, you're on a plane, you're on a boat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I have 5 hours. Like, sometimes I'll maybe if I have to work or something, like I'll do that for an hour or two. But then I like really like carve out 3 hours to just think. And it's really nice because there's a lot going on in there. It's like, you know, if I open the wrong door, it's like, ugh. But I'm also a writer. I'm a creator. It's like, I need to think.
I was going to say, I think that is probably like the biggest gift of fuel to give to like your writer brain, your creator brain. That's something I was literally just talking to a friend about. Like, I think currently the way that I am like operating in my life is I'm not carving out enough time for fantasy, like daydream, wonder, idleness. Like, that is where creativity is allowed to come out of. It's why, like, when you're in the shower and you think of the best idea ever. So that's a great reminder. Turn off the show.
A walk. I think we're a little too inundated with other people's voices. And the other day, I was talking to a couple fellow actors. I'm doing this play that you saw, and they were like, what do you when you're thinking, whose voice is that? Or do you hear a voice, or like, what's going on? And a few people, and this is how they're wired, there's no changing this. It's like silent. I'm like, what do you mean? And so it's interesting because I am more used to the sound of my own voice and my own thoughts than, I love The Town. I'll listen to that. I love script notes. I'll listen to that. I love listening to music. I went back into like the Much Music dance archives. That's what I'm on Spotify. But the predominant voice is just me thinking about stuff.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay.
Absolutely. No, I think actually it is also like, not that it needs to be like a means to an end, but I think it's also such a wonderful habit to build in order to like realize or discover like your sense of self, like hearing your own voice over, which only makes you a better friend, a better partner, a better writer, a better like all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
that
I love
probably
that.
answers an earlier question that you had about like the rejection and all that. Is just like, I very much value a lot of other people's opinions, but because I don't know if this is making me sound like a narcissist, but like, because I value my own voice, my own thought process, and and I've been to also years and years of therapy, but it keeps me in a place where I'm just like, I know what's best for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not really gonna take anyone else's opinion over mine if I feel like a gut instinct about something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that's an amazing, like, I don't think that sounds narcissistic at all. I just think it sounds like you're coming from a really healthy place of power, like in yourself.
It better be, man. Otherwise,
like I'm the CEO of this.
Sitting on this plane in silence.
Yeah. Why am I not catching up on? Every show I just thought of was like, no, think in silence instead of watch that show. Like all of them. For some reason, Ozark popped into my head, which is like,
I mean, great show,
but like a while ago.
Sure.
So okay, being in this position of like self-assuredness or like trusting yourself, it makes me think of, I'm curious what that is like when you approach the auditioning process, that like so much of the information is not in the actor's hand. You can ask for some more, but sometimes it's not. And it's kind of up to you. It's up to like you to run that through your own filter. What is the auditioning process like for you? Do you love auditions? What is it like for you?
I love auditions. I say the only caveat to that is when the writing is so bad and then there's like 10 pages of it or something that you have to do. And they're like, and can you give it to us yesterday? But beyond that, I love auditioning because it is the work. Not to be a cult leader acting teacher, but that is the work. You are auditioning more than you are working most of the time. And I have recently, in the last maybe 3 years, found a formula for myself where I'm just really enjoying when I do tape.
Yeah.
I'm like turning them into little short films, essentially. There's a beginning, middle, and end for myself. They're not just stabbing in the dark of this narrative that exists somewhere else. It's like, for me, this little journey that I'm going on has its beginning, middle, and end. And what I mean by that is, I just auditioned for this show that was like mockumentary style. And we know that in mock style, there's a lot of voiceover and like talking heads or whatever. So I did switch up the format within my tape.
Oh, fun. Great idea.
And it's like, I don't think casting directors necessarily want you to go overboard or need you to go crazy. However, if I'm having fun, they can see that. And so any way that I can have fun, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's fantastic. Yeah. I think you're right. It's like, but there's so much, I think for most of my career, or maybe even personal life, like I operated more on, let's say, approaching that tape. If I had that idea, I would think, oh, but in case they don't want it, in case it takes me out of the running, I won't do it. Whereas I think there's so much more to gain in approaching it that way, the way that you just said, versus how much there is to realistically lose by playing it safe or playing it like diluting yourself down to try and guess what the other person wants. Like,
yeah, I think I mean, again, it's case by case, and we're all just dealing with people here. It's not like there's like math or anything to this, but like if you're taken out of the running, it's probably because of your performance. No offense, like to me and to you and to everybody. It's like if your performance is good enough or like intriguing enough, they'll either ask you to retape if they don't like that version of it, or you'll be in the running and then you're going to go to a callback and they're like, okay, strip away all that weird shit that you did, but like keep this thing.
Yeah.
I love that Britt Lauer just posted, or I don't know who posted this, like from Severance, her audition tape, because she's like doing it. And you don't have to do that with everything, especially if it's like, you know, no offense to Lifetime, but it's like you're doing like a Lifetime audition or something. It's like no one's asking you to like go get a man and be like, hey, like no one's asking for that, but there is something to kind of like putting yourself in the scenario as best as you can, not really worrying about, obviously the lighting has to be good, but it doesn't have to be professional quality. You're at home. You know, you can dress as close as you can to the character. You don't have to. You can play with angles. Like I did a tape for my tape for the show I was on called One More Time. At one point we like there's an episode where we're like DJ tackles me to the ground, and in my tape I dropped to the ground, and then and then I cut, even though there's no cut in the sides, and then I started from the ground because there's, you know, it's more fun to do that way. Otherwise, how am I going to play the ground while I'm standing up?
Yeah. That is something so often where you get sides or you get a script and you're like, this is for the final. Yeah. This requires editing. Yeah. I need to now translate this into audition form. Like, how am I going to put this in a self-tape? Absolutely.
Exactly. Make it make sense for you.
Yeah, make it make sense for you. Yeah, absolutely. Do you, like, after you finish an audition, especially now that it seems like you're finding more fun with it and you found your process that actually feels like fulfilling in a way too, how are you post-submit? Like, you've submitted the audition, it's done, you finished it. Are you able to sort of like let that go? Are you daydreaming and thinking about booking the role? Are you trying to manifest it? Are you like move on to other things? What's your vibe?
It's case by case. Like there are some things that I like need. Yeah. And so, you know, a week goes by, whatever it is. Hey, to my reps. Hey, did they cast this thing?
Yeah.
And it's so like, there's no point in fucking asking that.
Yeah.
You will know when you know. Yeah. And then sometimes you literally just don't even care. Because you're like, maybe I'm not right for this. I had fun, but maybe I'm not right. Whatever you think in your head, you throw it away. And sometimes you aren't, and sometimes you are. It really depends. There are a couple ones that haunt me a little bit where I'm just like, you see the thing and you're like, I could have done that. You know? I taped for the studio and I was just like, this is my dream show. For the Chase Sweet Wonders character, and I was just like, I would have nailed it. She does an amazing job too, but I'm just like, I just want to work with Seth Rogen. Hello, on an industry show that's so fun,
so well written, like so.
And that's one of the ones where I'm just like, God damn it! But
you'd be an Emmy winner.
Yeah,
were you watching the Emmys? Like
that's what that means.
Anyway, but yeah. I was gonna ask, like, is there like a show or a role that is like, oh fuck, that's the one that got away, or like that just like was especially heartbreaking? It sounds
that
like
one
maybe
stands out to me, but it's not like I didn't get a call back or anything, because also I taped, not because this, but I taped right before the strike, and so everything was sort of delayed, whatever. But so I couldn't even check in because they're just like, who cares about you? So that one's kind of like, I taped, but it wasn't like a big deal. But I did get really close to a lot of other shows that felt just a bit more. I got really close to the show High Potential for one of the characters, and you know, sometimes it's not for you. What are you gonna do?
No, totally. It's I feel like it's part of, like, so if I try and wait until I'm on hold to fall in love with something, but like sometimes you can't. But even when I'm on hold, my partner will be like, okay, so maybe because I'm already like imagining it, and I'm like, no, I'm telling myself I'm manifesting it. And it's like, okay, well, maybe we chill for just a second in case, because they're trying to protect me against the heartbreak. But for me, I'm like, I would rather fall in love and imagine it and then like be completely and just then spend a day heartbroken and get over it than like not fall in love with it anyway. I'd rather just feel the ups and downs, you know?
Yeah. Might as well. Like, what else are we doing here?
Yeah. And then like I realized this too. I was like, well, most of the roles I'm not going to book, so I might as well feel the amazingness of almost booking it. Like if I take that away, what the hell?
Exactly.
Do you approach like whether it's auditioning or when you're on set, do you approach a character that's like a one episode, like Law and Order Toronto, which like also because you love Toronto, so fucking iconic that you got to be in Law and Order Toronto. Like that's so cool.
It's so sick.
Oh, that's so iconic. Yeah. Do you approach a character differently if it's like a one episode character like in Law and Order Toronto versus a recurring character like how you play Devin in Settle Down? Do you approach that differently for the audition or when you're like coming to set?
It's so funny. I've never thought about that before. I don't think so. Because, I mean, Law & Order is a different situation because it's like you aren't going back there.
Yeah. You know it.
Yeah. But if I were to do like a guest star on something, it's like you actually never know whether or not you could be brought back. Like the Letterkenny situation, we were contracted for 3 episodes and then we worked on the show for like 6 seasons or whatever. So it's like you never know.
Yeah.
The Devin thing, just Devin specifically, Alex Nunez, the creator, brought me on to that show like for me. And so that one was a bit easier because it's like I'm just kind of going in and playing one color of myself. And so it's fun because I know how many episodes I get to like unravel this woman in and you sort of like I do anyway. I sort of plan out her journey that way. But it's if you're only going in for one episode, I suppose you have to just lay it all out on the table with the one thing and just hope that someone sparks to that or that it just fits neatly into the one episode like a Law and Order and have a nice day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And when you're auditioning for those, like, let's say, you know, it's a character that is, I guess it could be like a Law and Order where, like you said, like, you know, you're not coming back. Like it's a different kind of show if you come back, versus a guest star on something else where maybe it could lead to something else. Are you approaching that audition differently? Like, okay, I'm going to just play this moment and I'm not going to make a meal out of this character versus I guess a character that you know is like, oh, they're in the entire season, like How to Fail at Being a Pop Star kind of thing. Are you approaching it differently? Or are you like, no, I'm just playing the moments as they are?
Yeah, I think like it's in some ways none of my business what the larger plan for this character is. Like you can show as many colors as you are able to stuff into a 2-minute audition, but you know, that's up to the also casting with sending you scenes that are different. So it's like if you get 3 scenes and they all feel similar, which does happen sometimes, it's like I guess then it's up to you to sort of show a different side, but you can't necessarily play totally against the writing. Yeah, I don't really worry about that. I'm sort of dealing with what's happening in the scene, and if a character is particularly a certain way, like if she's like super angry or sarcastic or really bubbly, it is nice to show a flash of something else as the writing allows, so that it doesn't feel one note, even if the sides are all similar.
Right. Yeah. And I imagine, I mean, for like, it's more fun also. You feel like you're playing, you feel like you're hinting at this backstory or this secret, or even just that you're like sitting in a more full person.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because it's self-tapes and you can't even see the other person. And
I know,
you know, sometimes the reader's not even in the room with you. It's like, it's tough, but
yeah,
I sort of, part of me is just like, whatever happens outside of this is not my business.
Yeah. I love that. That's great. Yeah. I love that. And okay. So you bring up like the writing of it and how much the writing allows. So I imagine being like, I think starting out in acting, maybe it's harder to sort of know what or how to interpret the writing, but I think being a writer really helps with that. And so for writing, okay, so this hour has 22 minutes, was one of your first major TV writing jobs. What made you want to submit a writing package for that show? And I guess for people listening who don't know, like for that show, you are typically, actually, and maybe your journey was different, but like typically you're submitting a writing package that includes some samples, some sketches that you've written or some points of view, some ideas. So what made you want to submit one for that show?
So I actually didn't.
Oh, amazing. Okay, great. Great. I'm like, oh yeah, your journey was different. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, I sent in I went in as a desk, like an anchor.
Mm-hmm.
They were looking for new anchors, and it included the writing aspect of it. But okay, I didn't hand in anything that was written, but I had to write my sketches that I submitted as an anchor person.
Okay.
So yeah, there was no writing component to it officially, but I had to write what I was auditioning with. Because it was the news or whatever, like a parody. And so, I it's different than being a writer who then is featured. Like I was an anchor person who also wrote.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And so then when you're on the show, you're still submitting pitches for what you're saying for the anchor role, but then also for the sketches that you were into. Like, did you get to write for both?
Yeah. So once a week, all of the writers get together with the showrunner and pitch sketch ideas or desk pieces or field pieces. This was 2020, so we were limited. I did the 2-week quarantine twice in Halifax. Like, it was, and also the news was dominated by COVID and Biden Trump election, and it was like a very weird time to be working with the news. I mean, but I guess all the time is a weird time to be talking about news. But
I think it's fair to say that the pandemic was a weird time.
It was
like
really
a uniquely weird time.
It was also the beginning. It was like what didn't feel like the beginning, because I ended up getting that job, I want to say, in like July or August of 2020. And I was just like, it's going to be done now. We're done. Yeah. Right. And then it really wasn't. But I just submitted. They were looking for, because there was basically 4 people, a little bit of changing out over the last 30 plus years, but they were looking for new desk people, and they were trying out a couple new faces, and Abba Amakwando went before me, and then it was me. And I just submitted on a whim, being like, it'd be cool. Love Rick Mercer. He's cool. And Sean Majumder, like it was, and Sue Kent, like you'd be part of this big legacy. And I just sort of, I had the time and wrote, just like a little package and sent it off and ended up getting the job. It was great. And then, so you like pitch sketches, and then you read them if you get selected to be in the table read. And then from there, it's even whittled down further to what is actually being on TV.
And
where I did say shot, and then from there,
and then
and
then edited, and then maybe see
it's tested in front of the live audience.
Oh, it really like reflects so much of what you hear of SNL kind of thing,
Totally.
Putting it all together. Yeah.
And
so at that point, like, was TV writing, was that something you were always interested in as well as acting, or like did writing come later? How did you find your like desire to write?
2 or 3 years before that, I had started as a story coordinator in little rooms, little development rooms. So I was already sort of sussing out like if this was also a fun career path for me, because I always have written, like that's why I had that book of poetry. And I also, in theater school, you end up writing pieces for yourself and blah blah blah, but I always knew that I wanted to write for TV. I just didn't, again, think that it was necessarily my journey. I'm like, am I gonna do this? And then I do remember in one of the rooms I was in, the head writer, Duana Taha, she was just like, you're really good at this. And I was just a story coordinator. And I was just like, what? And she was like, story coordinating. And I was like, and that's what the job's called? And
that's what I'm doing right now.
Also, back then too, not that long ago, but only recently were story coordinators part of the WGC. Like, I didn't really understand what that job was. And so I learned doing these little rooms, and then I worked in the writer's room for this hour, but that is not the same as narrative necessarily.
Mhm.
It's like a very different approach. Like parts of it are the same, like you're punching up together and blah, 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 but it's quite different than having like a season or
And like
whatever.
breaking a season all together and then pairing off to write certain episodes.
Yeah.
Like, right.
Yeah. And then I ended up, because again, COVID, you have all this time, I ended up finishing all these scripts that I had started, and then started pitching some of them. And then from there ended up getting a job writing on Children and Everything.
Yeah. Well, writing on like for 22 minutes, writing there, I think it's so interesting, like having to pump out that many pitches and that much material that is specifically about like, I'm going to take something that's going on in the world right now and I'm going to filter it through my own point of view, like my own POV. I'm curious, what did writing for that show, or even just like, even if the pitch didn't get to writing, what did the writer's room of that show sort of like reveal to you about how you see the world? Did you learn anything about yourself in that way?
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I definitely I definitely learned that I have like we all people who work in comedy probably think that they have some sort of like weird niche brain. But like
Right.
I speak a lot in like four layered references to like niche Canadian TV that no one gives a shit about. Like I did like a Degrassi Euphoria sketch that no one understood. I was like, I was definitely going in. I'll say this: a lot of my sketches did not make it because they were too random and didn't have like, all the writers who are on this hour are so smart and know how to balance what they want to see with what the country might want to see.
As a whole. Yeah.
I didn't give a fuck about the country. I was just like, this would be funny to me.
Yeah.
I want to see an impression of Lily Singh telling everyone to put their masks on. And I remember trying to do that and everyone being like, what? Anyway.
Right.
So I learned that my brain worked in an interesting way, and it's what makes me a really good punch-up writer, I think, because I love when someone hands me a script and they go, make this funnier, and then I am able to slot in my specific brand of like 5-layered niche Canadian reference. But it also I basically learned like I need to make my own stuff.
Oh, again, like, I guess just this recurring theme, and again, maybe I'm just seeing this or projecting this, but like, in a position where if you felt like your experience was like, oh, a lot of my pitches like didn't make it, somebody could be like, oh, I guess my ideas suck. Like somebody could draw a different conclusion.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it means I should have my own show. Like it means that I should actually, which I love. I think that's such a choice of how to see the world or how to interpret things. And like, I think it's just sort of a through thread of like, that's an incredible way to look at that. That is completely valid. I'm not saying that like the other way is how you should have. No.
I mean, sure, some people call it megalomania, but I do think like it's you're always trying on the coat that is your life, and sometimes it doesn't fit anymore, or it's not right for this season. You just have to really understand those moments. Like you can't read into too much. You can't read into when people are like, you're doing a really good job, because again, that's just one person's opinion. And you also can't read into someone being like, you're not doing a good job, because that's one person's opinion. All of that is information, and it should sort of help shape the way you think about things. But that opinion in and of itself is not who you are. And I think that is sort of like, I was like, oh, I want to be better at this specific thing, but I don't know that this is the place for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that ultimately, like, your opinion is the one in your own life, as it should, that like matters the most. Yeah. You had said in an interview that when talking about like writing for This Hour Has 22 Minutes, you said, I have the quote here so I don't.
Oh my God, you're so well researched.
Oh my God, I try. Except that I pronounced your name wrong right off the top.
No, but I never told you. Also, it's like the Nadine, like I answered to both. Like, who cares?
No, and also like you don't, and also just to throw out, like, you don't have to take care of me in this. I'm so glad you said it. I feel closer to you. I'm glad to know how you like to pronounce your name and how it should be pronounced. You said I'm so interested in making sure the little girl in me feels satisfied by the work I'm putting out. And just in thinking about like whose opinion matters the most. Like I'm curious, like what kind of work is that? Like when you're, and again, this was a while back, but even now when you think about like, I want to make sure that I'm making work that the little girl me is like, fuck yeah. What kind of work is that for you?
Just stuff that like, you can look back and be proud of.
Mm.
And that is, life is long in many ways. And so you're going to make bad things. You're going to make things that you're not proud of, but that's all part of it. I just want to make stuff that feels like me.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to me, so that is actually very vast. However, I just don't want to be taken for a ride because again, like what are we all doing here? And I love learning from people, and I love like taking what I've learned from people and putting that into my new personality. Like again, I'm a collector of thoughts, I'm a collector of things. Like I just want to make stuff that 9-year-old me who started in this industry is like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I would want to be her when I grow up.
Yeah.
But you never know, like 6 months from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, like I will look different at all those points in my life. And so you really can't predict. So you have to be open to a job that maybe doesn't look right at the beginning. And then you either find out it's not, or you're like, holy crap, that I'm so glad I took that job.
Yeah. You've talked about before, like turning jobs down, like getting a script and in some cases, it's truly just that you're like, I remember you saying like, oh, maybe somebody else would be falling in love with this character, this project more than me. It should go to them. I think it's really easy. First of all, I think that is absolutely the place to be coming from. I mean, not that everything's like right or wrong, but I think that's such a great place to be coming from for yourself and for others. But also I think it's easy to fall into like a scarcity mindset. Is it
Totally
hard for you to say no? Was it always easy for you to say no? Like what's that experience like for you?
It's hard to say no. I especially in this climate where the industry is on its last legs. It is hard to say no. I'm also I'm a crazy person where I'm like, I'll just be able to do everything. Like, again, as you know, I'm doing this play, and I am also writing on a show, and I would have done this anyway because like things line up and timing gets askew. But my days for the last couple months, because I was writing on another show before that, my days for the last few months have been like 16-ish hours of just straight work.
Yeah.
And I would never have said no. Even looking back, I'm so tired, but I'm like, I would never have said no.
Yeah.
I kind of love working, and I'm a true extrovert too. So working for me also means hanging out. And so I will most likely say yes, because you also never know who you're going to meet, how they might change your world.
Oh, truly. Yeah. Yeah.
Making a little bit more money allows me to do dumb shit. Like,
yeah.
I love a little small plate restaurant and a stupid, like I will spend so much money on eating. Like I need to fund this lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I also think it's really important when something in your body goes, I don't want to do this. And you have to just, take stock. Am I scared? Or is it really not for me? And a lot of the time it's really just not for me. And it usually boils down to something where I don't feel connected to the character or the perspective or something. And then I'm like, is little me going to be proud that I like told this particular story?
Yeah. Or is little me going to be proud that I said no? Like equally, she could be equally proud of either of those decisions. Yeah, absolutely. So being in a writer's room now, and like you said, you've been in other, like since 22 Minutes, you've been in other narrative writing rooms, Children Ruin Everything, and also Slo Pitch, like you've been in these writer rooms. So I'm curious, like in being in writers' rooms, is it what you imagined? Like what you thought it would be? Or is there anything that surprised you about the process of like, oh, I didn't think this is what a writer's room is like?
It's exactly what I thought. I feel like TV really captures what it's like to write on TV.
Right. Yeah.
It is just, for the most part, I'm really lucky. I've never been in a toxic room, so I'll say that. But it is really just a bunch of people sitting around, pitching jokes. I also write comedy, so it's like I can't really speak to what it's like to write Handmaid's Tale or something.
Right.
But it's a bunch of funny people, all same goal. I also have worked with so many incredible writers. So it's all just I don't think I've ever encountered an ego. I know that sounds insane, but like I don't know. I love Canadians. I love Canadian writers. Like it's just chill and fun and it really gets my brain cooking in a way that acting doesn't.
Yeah. I think like it's for me writing, like I love collaborative writing versus like I find it so incredibly difficult to just like go away on my own and be like, okay, think of an idea, outline the idea, write the idea. And you know, it's not a solitary practice for me. That being in a room, shooting the shit with people. I've never been in like a professional writer's room, but just like with friends, like breaking a season and figuring out what this thing is that we want to create together. And then it's such a pure joy. Like it really does. It energizes you in a way that like nothing else does. It's like so wonderful. How are you with writing on your own?
I'm very disciplined. Like I'm in the right field because I am pretty good at that. I don't, you know, when it's like kind of months on end and I'm trying to like write a new pilot or whatever it is, it becomes a bit isolating and I always need to hand it off to somebody, if that's friends or sometimes I'll have like a mini room with a bunch of my friends and just like, you know, buy everyone food or like try and if I'm feeling flushed, I'm like, here's $100, like come spend 4 hours with me and like let's, you know, maybe punch this up or re-break it or whatever. But I'm pretty good at writing on my own.
Were you always like that?
Yes, I have always been like that because also too being in a writer's room includes writing time. You get assigned an episode and then you have to go and write it. And I say that I've never been in a toxic room. I'm sure if I was consistently bothering everybody, then they would be like, please shut the hell up. So it's like there is a time that you do need to just be quiet and go write your episode. And luckily, again, a lot of my friends are writers. So it's like we'll be writing on 2 separate shows and it's like let's go to the coffee shop and let's write together and then we'll look up and you're like, is this what's a funny way of saying this?
Yes,
you know?
Yeah. Oh, I love that too. Just somebody beside me who I love. We don't have to be talking. Both of us doing work. I feel so motivated to just like keep working. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, okay, so I'm just like thinking of your career, like writing, acting, all of it. I think, okay, so there's this idea, I think for most actors when you start or most creators that let's say for actors. So like you're going to book your first role. It's going to be a small role. Then you're going to book a bigger one and then a bigger one. And you're going to build this like momentum and build a career for yourself. And I think that can be true. Absolutely. I think in reality, that is actually really, really hard and more uncommon than we think in Canada. Like I think
it's essentially non-existent.
Really hard to do. I don't think
right now anyway.
And like maybe I mean, I guess if we think of like how many people are seriously pursuing it versus people who are able to sort of build a career out of it and keep that momentum going. And I'm talking about like, let's say you are objectively talented and objectively hardworking. I still think it is like in reality so difficult to do, especially here in Canada. But when from an outsider's perspective, again, like I feel like you're totally doing that. And and maybe that's like such an outsider's perspective of it. And it's in no way to take away, like, I'm sure there were times I felt like dry spells, not just felt, that were dry spells, ups and downs. But when you reflect on your career so far, what are some of the things that you think helped you keep that momentum going and like stay pretty consistently employed? What do you think other than absolutely talented, absolutely hardworking?
Yeah. This is so funny. It's like one of the moments that I'm going to undo from earlier where it's like, it is important for other people to sort of reflect your life back at you sometimes and to take that to heart. Cause like the last 2 years from an industry perspective and from someone who works a lot.
Yeah.
Or consistently, I should say, have been the hardest of my life. Like especially the last year after the strike, everyone was like, okay, 2024, whatever, things were on pause. COVID's now done, so let's ramp up. And it was like stay alive till 25. And then
Yeah.
2025
I
came
hated
along.
that saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And then 25 came along, and we saw the crumbling of the industry. And it started with the fires in LA, and then it just sort of like ramped up to this sort of like capitalist conglomerate nightmare where a lot of things are changing, and everyone's treading water. I don't know. I think it's because I keep bouncing back and forth between acting and writing. I'm extremely lucky. Yes, I work hard. Yes, I think I'm good at what I do, but I'm extremely lucky that my friends are now the ones getting shows made. So there is that aspect. It's almost like being a nepo baby.
I think it's different in that. Like, I see what you're saying, but also as an outsider reflecting back to you, I think it is different when like Kristen Wiig is making a movie and is like, "Hey, Maya Rudolph, want to come do this?"
Sure.
That's not nepotism. Like, I get it, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's different.
Yeah. And I'm very lucky because the two major shows I wrote on this year and then one that I acted on were all direct calls. So I can't complain in that sense. And then the other thing I do, and I will never stop doing this till the day I die, is just creating opportunities for other people. So my friend Julian and my other friend Hannah and Taki and I, we all run this thing called Hot Pilot Party. And we read scripts and we get a bunch of actors, a mix of names and up and comers. And then we invite the community to this fun party. We just started doing it last year, and now we've done 3. And when you invite people into a community, they want to invite you back, and it becomes this beautiful little like circular thing. And it can feel exclusive if you didn't get an invite or whatever, but we had a lot of people being like, "Can I come next time?" And it's like, yeah, if you're cool and chill. Like, we just don't want any sort of like grabby, covetous energy, because like we want it to truly feel like community. And so I think like building community for yourself where it has no benefit to you other than feeling good and fun and nice begets all the things that you're looking for when the industry is slow. Your brain can crackle with like ideas for something. Maybe you'll find someone to write with. Maybe it'll lead to a job, but like the friendships of it all are so important. I know that sounds corny as hell, but like it is the thing that keeps you afloat, because again, this is your life. You going to do a day on Law and Order or whatever it is. It's so fun. And I'm having dinner with Kathleen tonight. So it's just sort of like, I made a friend out of that, which is like, it's so nice.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be like on my deathbed being like, I really was the red herring in that episode of Law and Order.
Although Law and Order Toronto, so like you might a little bit.
Maybe, but it's
maybe a little. But I know what you mean. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
There was an episode where it was like a bunch of comedians. It was like Ennis Esmer gets killed. He's like Canada's most beloved comedian on this episode. And then a couple of our friends were also on it, and a couple of our friends wrote on it, and we all watched it together. And I'm like, this is life. Like, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah. I think that's an incredible, like, I think especially now, at least, like, now that it's self-tapes and I'm not running into people in waiting rooms, like just it can feel so isolating and siloed. Totally. And you have maybe like the same go-to people who are your reader at home when you do your self-tape. So it's truly just like so isolating.
Yeah.
That I think that's amazing. And like, I think it's harder to find community now than it feels like it used to before the pandemic. Even like I'm in like the improv scene, and like some of the theaters closed down or just shifted frameworks, and it feels really different. And so just a nice reminder of like, be proactive and go create that community or find that community for nothing else than community purpose. Like, I think that is such a great reminder, because you can feel when people want you for something other than just who you are and your presence and your light, you know, like
Yeah.
you can feel it. Yeah.
Also, everyone wants to go to a house party and no one wants to throw one. So it's just like, just throw one, man.
Someone throw one. Someone rent a house and throw one. We'll all rent one together.
Yeah.
We'll clean it up together. I mean, I'll end up cleaning up because I'm like that person, you know, and I'll plan it and I'll find a house and blah, 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 blah. It's interesting when you're saying like it's important to have people reflect your career back to you or just reflect like their perception of it. Because in no way did I think, even not knowing you, I didn't think you're like, oh yeah, I'm constantly working and I'm at the, like people don't think of themselves that way. But
sometimes you can't, sometimes you try and deny the facts though.
Right.
And I am relentlessly, like I'm hungry constantly to be busy in an artistic way. And sometimes just writing on my own doesn't cut it. And then I go, wait, I haven't taped in like weeks, you know, and then you start going, well, I guess my career is over. And it's I will actively be doing that in the dressing room for the play, or I'll be actively doing that on my walk to the writer's room. And it's just like, am I an idiot? And like, there are truly like between, I don't even know what it was. I didn't work for like 6 months or something last year. And that really weighs on a person. Also, because you work on something and then it comes out, so everyone thinks that you just did it, but you're like, I did this last year.
Yeah.
And, you know, but then all of a sudden everything happens in 3 months. And you have like 4 jobs in 3 months.
Yeah, or you have 16-hour days. Yeah, and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah,
so you never know. And I have like the best managers in the whole world who are constantly reminding. They're like, well, we're always doing paperwork for you, so you need to stop complaining. Yeah, because I am also the kind of person being like, hello, like Hollywood,
anything?
Yeah.
Did you call? Did I miss your call? Yeah,
exactly. And he's just like, be quiet. No, but my managers are the best. They're always like, well, I know it feels like it's like this for everybody, and that is also too. It's like the thing with community is you get to sit around and be like, everyone else feeling like this, and sometimes other people are not, and I love that because it means that the industry keeps rolling along. When everyone is sitting around going, we're all fucked, then we're fucked.
Yeah. That's a great point. Absolutely. But if like some are feeling fucked and some aren't, you're like, all right, well then it's coming. Like something's coming soon. Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. This reminds me of something else you said. Sorry. I feel it's so weird to be like, something else you said in your book.
Oh, tell me.
You said, if a person succeeds and they can't enjoy it, does it even count? And I was like, yeah. I think in general, just a fucking blanket statement for all the people I know and all the people that I don't. I think 90% of us do not celebrate the success. Actually, not even celebrate. I don't think we acknowledge or like see the successes as much as we really, really need to, or just like deserve to celebrate those. And that can sometimes feel hard if everybody's feeling fucked and maybe you're not. Maybe you're like, I'm actually feeling kind of great right now, but my friends are feeling like super dry and hungry and like metaphorically in their careers, not physically. You know?
I mean, I'll be the first person to say it. I had an incredible pandemic for work. Like I didn't have a break. Like I thought a couple jobs went away and I was like, oh no, the momentum that I was building is now over. And then I did like a Christmas movie or something. And I was just like, okay, this is something. And then I was on this hour and then things started to really pick up. And then I didn't stop working, you know, in my mind until 2 years ago where it's like,
right.
I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
And I was very conscious of when to be like, I'm doing this new thing and when to sort of just keep it to myself. And it was not for anyone else's comfort. Also, I get sick of myself. I don't need to tell everyone everything all the time. Half this industry is promoting yourself, you know, like making sure everyone knows that you're working. I just fully outed myself that there was a huge chunk of last year where I wasn't. But it's because it was weird. Like people get this weird sort of like, oh, you're not working in this very minute? Well, why? What's wrong with you? Yeah. I don't want to use you either. work begets work. But yeah, no. You
Yeah.
gotta, no one cares. When you're scrolling, the thing is, when you're scrolling, because we're talking about, let's be honest, we're talking about
Yeah.
on the internet.
Yeah.
You're not talking about at a party. No one really cares. When you're scrolling on the internet and you see someone, yes, you might feel a pang of why isn't that me for like a second. The average person is not thinking about it 2 seconds later because you're seeing something else.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
so I don't know, post about it. Don't be insufferable, but post about it. Talk about it. Enjoy your life.
Yeah. And honestly, even if you're like, quote unquote, over posting, like whatever somebody thinks is worrying about that it's over posting,
you're going to get muted.
You're going to get muted. Or also and also strive to get muted. Like, great.
People are going to mute you. It's fine. Like, I'm not an over. Yeah. I really like, I have a pretty healthy relationship to my social media. I'm just like, I post when I want to. I don't when I don't. The end. Yeah. I don't really overthink what I post. I'm just sort of like, people know this is a joke because I'm not earnest on the internet. I think that part is helpful. But I'm like, people are probably muting me anyway. And honestly, go for it.
And but also, to be honest, like the algorithm makes it so that like most of the shit is buried anyway. Like it's so, if somebody posts 3 times in 3 days, most of the time I'm probably not even seeing one. Like it gets buried so easily on there's not likely going to be an individual person unless they go to your freaking grid and scroll through and they're like, oh, posted today. Oh, another one today. Oh, nobody's doing that. Yeah. And if they are, let them have that. That's their
burden to bear.
Life. That
totally.
Is exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
So how do you think then, like right now, how do you, at this moment in your life, like how do you define success for yourself? Like what does success kind of look like for you?
That's a great question. I just have to feel like fulfilled. The easiest answer. And that looks like so many things. I took a break from theater because of the pandemic. I was supposed to do this play that was going to last a really long time too, and then I just didn't end up wanting to at a certain point in time. Like I was just like, my life's sort of going in all these different directions, and I ended up not doing it. Huge success, won 1 million awards. It was a fantastic thing, and I saw it, and I was just like, yes, this is going back to the saying no thing. It's like this was not my journey. And then I got a call from one of my friends who works at Soul Pepper, and was just like, would you come in and be seen for this play, The Welkin? And I was just like, yeah, sure, I'll be seen.
Yeah,
like who knows what I'm doing 8 months from now, but sure.
Yeah. And
then I booked the job and I took it, and there was still in the back of my mind, like, what if something else interferes? They're like theater's like such a like you book it months and months in advance. And the industry is so day to day that it made me nervous because I hadn't done theater in also 6 years. And so when it actually rolled around, I was just like, wow, thank God I took this job, because I am on stage with some of the coolest, smartest, best actors in this city. And I feel pure joy being on stage every single day. And that is what it's all about. It's just like finding the people. It's the same thing writing on Slo Pitch. I'm just like, wow, I get to work with these cool people making something when also things are not being made. And that in and of itself sort of feels fulfilling, because you're just like, one of us did it.
Yeah. One of us did it so that all of us can do it, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's so incredible. And I don't know if I've said this to you yet, but you are so incredible in The Welkin.
Oh my God,
like,
thank you.
Everybody is so it is
it's true. It's a good cast.
And I've been seeing like all the amazing reviews you guys are getting, and all like the 5-star. You truly deserve all of it. It is such an incredible show. I hope it gets extended. I mean, or maybe everybody's like, maybe it doesn't need to. I'm like, I hope it gets extended. I don't like goodbyes. And then I'm also like, hold on a second. The British do it well. And like, let's also just have things end when they need to. So I hope that it goes for as long as all the people involved in it want it to go. That's
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it needs to be. This perfect morsel of a play that does not need to go for 10 years. However, if someone was like, you have to do this for 10 years, it's the like, you know, the only job you're going to have with these people, I'd be like, great.
Oh
You
my
know?
God. And your Scottish accent, you probably like imagine 10 years. You're so good at that Scottish accent.
Oh my God,
and that feels
thank
silly
you.
to say because like, well, of course, like you're inhabiting that character. But like
No,
there was truly a moment where I turned to my friend that I saw it with and I was like, I don't think does she have a Scottish accent? And I didn't realize it. So good.
that I really appreciate that, considering the week before I was like, I'm just going to tell them I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not going to do it.
Drop it
Because
completely.
it's so bad. And it was actually bad. Like, I'm not just being like, it was bad. It was bad. And everyone around me, like the people who, you know, really keep me humble were like, it's really bad. And I'm like, and so I was at Just for Laughs the week before we started. And every morning, which sometimes that was 1 p.m., I would take out the script and I had all my lines sort of in a document so that I could just go through all of my lines. And I would just keep reciting them with the accent because I had a session with a dialect coach. And somehow when I got to the table read, it just sort of, my director was like, you don't have to do it for this table read. And I was just like, I'm going to try. And I just fucking locked in. Oh. And then I'm like, I am Scottish. That is not, okay, for the listeners, me screaming, that is not how it sounds. So don't think that that's a reflection on how I do it. It's actually good. I'm not going to do it now, but
I love that. No, and I'm not going to ask you. Everybody, that you can go, if the show has been extended, you can go see the show. You can go. That is it exists in theater only in that moment. Yeah. In that moment for you. But also I'm like, oh my God, look at you throwing it out there right there. That's so great.
It's fun because it teaches you, you know, you can do anything if you try.
You fucking do it. Yeah. And it teaches you like trust have people around you that you trust to tell you like, hey, it's dog shit right now. And I believe that you can make it better. Because when I saw it, let me tell you, it was so good. And
you saw the first preview, which is crazy.
I saw the first one ever. Yeah. First preview. And that like nobody else on stage is doing a Scottish accent. That's the thing that blew my mind.
Nobody else on stage has an accent. Like Fiona has one for like a minute. She's doing, not for a minute. For most of the play, she's doing like British RP and then she, not spoiler alert, has to drop it, but nobody else has an accent. So I think people are just like also deeply confused, which I kind of love.
Just worked. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, it worked. I love when people, I think when people are confused, it sort of inspires them or motivates them to do self-reflection and introspection, and then they get to learn some things. So like, whatever. Yeah. Lovely. Well, okay. So this has been so fun chatting with you, and I want to be mindful of your time. So I do just want to, before I ask you sort of my last question, I just wanted to share with you that like in reading Sweat, your book of poetry, that it will be linked in the episode description if anybody wants to go order it. It's so beautiful. And there is a poem where you're writing about a breakup in this specific poem, but you have this line that is, how is it that time feels like distance? Oh my God, I'm like actually getting a little teary. And when I read it, I don't know you, so I'm gonna just like chill for a second.
No,
I shouldn't have said it out loud.
This is what life is about. This is what life is about.
Reference the page. I've been grieving a loss for like a while.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. And you, so bad. I need to pull myself together. I should have said the line after I said the thank you. Anyway, I just want to say that like you phrasing it that way hit me so deep because I was like, that is the exact articulation of the grief right now that I cannot figure out how to say to tell people how it's getting worse and not better.
Yes.
And I just like, that poem in general, like the whole thing, it's not just that line. For listeners, you can go order the book and read it. It's on page 54. But that line, it like gave me words to the grief that I was like looking for, and then was able to like share with my partner and opened up a conversation. And I just want to extend a thank you because like,
oh my God, really, that's so, thank you.
It was
for
really beautiful.
Saying that.
Yeah. It was like really lovely to read. It was one of those things where after I read it, you feel like an idiot of like, oh yeah, that's how I'm feeling. How could I not think of how to say that? And I just think like really wonderful writing does that to you. It gets to your soul and makes you feel like an idiot that like you couldn't articulate it in that way that felt so clear and obvious. So anyway, just thank you for that poem. It like really
thank you
helped
for
me
saying that.
in
And
a way.
I'm so sorry that it's attached to something so, weighty. But yeah, I agree. It's like, I watch Girls and I go, oh my God, Lena Dunham gets my brain. Or you watch Insecure and you're like, oh God, Issa Rae really understands like how I want to see things.
Yeah.
And really good writing. Yes, scratches a part of us that is hard to reach sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You scratch that itch for me and I really appreciate it. And I'm sure other people as well that maybe you won't hear
so
from, and
sweet.
that's okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank
That's
you
really kind.
Thank you for that. Okay, so my last question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I like dry my eyes so people aren't like, what's going on? My last question for you is, who is a Canadian artist or what is a piece of Canadian media that you are loving right now that we can share with people?
Yeah, I did think about this. So I have a 3-pronged answer.
Oh, I love a 3-pronged in her antique shop brain. Okay, let's do this.
So I would say the live stuff you can see in Toronto, comedy, theater, whatever, you gotta go. There is always something on. Get your ass to Comedy Bar West, Comedy Bar East, any of the theaters, Soul Pepper, Can Stage, Coal Mine, any of them, go see something. A lot of artists are making some really cool shit out there. And you can get arts worker discounts for almost everything. The second thing I will say is a podcast I love is Spare Parts, which is the Letterkenny Rewatch podcast with Evan Stern and Michelle Milette. It's funny. It's heartwarming. You don't need to have watched the show. They do like a really fun thing called Spare Hearts where you can write in like life and love questions and they'll answer them. So fun. And then the third thing I'll say is there's a show called The Office Movers, and it's Jay and Trey Richards. They are so funny. The show is so deeply Canadian. I will say my friend is the showrunner, so I've watched the entire thing, but it's so good. It's so fun and so Toronto specific, and they're going to get another season will be coming out in the next few months. Yeah. And yeah, I just think they made something really cool.
Yeah, it's incredible. And it's on Crave, right? In Canada?
It's on Crave. Yes,
Crave.
Thank you.
Yes. No, absolutely. And I'll link it in the episode description. I'll link all Comedy Bar, everything that you just mentioned. I'll link it down there. Office Movers, so funny. So fun. Like silly and zany, but like grounded. And there's still like real characters, real relationships. It's such a joy to watch. Yeah. Those are great. That's a great 3-prong.
Thank you.
Love that. Oh my God. And on Spare Parts, you can go listen to your episode first. Well,
but
listeners,
they start from the first episode. They really find this fun rhythm over I don't even know if we call it a season because they've watched 2 seasons now. It's just like so fun. They've got great guests. Highly recommend.
And great chemistry between the two of them too.
Oh my God,
they're so fun.
They both have really good podcast voice.
They do. You have a really good podcast voice also.
Thank you.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. You're right. You just needed an outside perspective. Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Really appreciate it. Oh, my pleasure.
Lovely.
Oh, I'm so glad.